Česká republika.
Karlův Most, or Charles Bridge, is a medieval stone arch bridge across the river Vltava in central Prague. Today, it is a major tourist attraction in the Czech capital and has had people traveling over it, fighting on it, and heads hanging from it for over 600 years. To put that into context, this bridge alone is almost 3 times older than the United States of America. Construction on the bridge started in the 1350s, replacing the older Judith Bridge, which was destroyed by flooding. Originally, the newly commissioned bridge was simply called Stone Bridge or Kamenný most in Czech, but was renamed to Karlův Bridge in 1870 in commemoration of King Karlov IV. Right up until the 1840s, Karlův Bridge was the only crossing across the Vltava and was somewhat of a trade gateway between Eastern and Western Europe during its day. Please take a moment to like and subscribe at some point during the video if you're enjoying my content. You can also follow me on social media or even support me at Patreon or buy me a coffee. Also, don't forget to check out the RedHead map to see more videos by location. Now back to the video. The bridge is made up of 16 arches spanning over the river and is over 500 meters long and 10 meters wide. There are guard towers in Gothic style at each end, and the whole length of the bridge is decorated with Baroque sculptures. Legend has it that King Karlov himself laid the first stone of the bridge at 5:31 a.m. on July 9th, 1357. This precise moment of time supposedly being of great significance. The time sequence is in fact a palindrome, which means something that is read the same forwards and backwards. This is apparently linked to the empirical Roman belief in numerals and their ability to adorn you with additional strength. Fast forwarding to the 1620s, several leaders of the anti-Habsburg revolt were executed at the Battle of the White Mountain. Their heads were later displayed on the tower of the Old Town side of the bridge. In the 1640s, the Swedes occupied the west bank of the Vltava and attempted to take the rest of the city. The bridge was the epicenter of these battles. For the next few centuries, intermittent flooding would compromise the bridge many times, consequently sometimes causing severe damage, but the bridge still stood. In the 1840s, the bridge managed to come out undamaged during the Austrian revolutionary days. In the 1860s, gas street lighting was installed. Today still remain but are now electric. In the 1870s, the first public horse-drawn bus line went over the bridge, later replaced by a horse-drawn tram line. In the 1890s, yet another flood compromised the bridge. This time, several tons of debris from upstream floated down and got jammed up against the bridge. The immense pressure caused catastrophic damage to several arches, causing several of them to collapse and several statues falling into the water. The bridge was repaired and reopened 2 years later. In 1905, the horse-drawn tram line was replaced with an electric tram line. The bridge also managed to survive World War II in the 1940s without damage, having been barricaded. The 1960s and 70s saw extensive structural repair work carried out on the bridge, thus giving it a much-needed reinforcement. It was during this time that the ugly asphalt structures were removed, revealing the original stone path and the bridge fully pedestrianized. During yet more disastrous floods in the early noughties, it was decided to overhaul the stabilization efforts carried out in the 60s and 70s, having been deemed insufficient. In the late noughties, the bridge's pillars were bolstered and many stones were replaced, something which remains controversial as the team working on the bridge had no previous restoration experience on cultural heritage sites or monuments. This actually led to the Prague authorities being criticized from conservation groups across all over Europe, after the restoration team having mismatched many stone types, sizes, quality, and joining materials. Eventually, UNESCO's World Heritage Committee had to step in to quell the matter. As far as the statues go on the bridge, unfortunately all of them have had to be replaced over the years. However, several originals are still on display in the Lapidarium in the National Museum. Today, the bridge continues to be a major pedestrian route connecting Old Prague with the lower districts. While it attracts thousands of tourists, and understandably so, the bridge still just remains a way for many Czechs to get to work. In 2017, Google celebrated the bridge's 660th birthday, featuring it on its Google search homepage. If you want to visit Karlův Bridge, head to central Prague. It is fully open to all pedestrians at any time of the day, and while drenched in history itself, offers amazing views over the rest of one of the most beautiful and historic capitals of Europe.